Okay, good afternoon, everyone. It is August 4th, Tuesday at 1 p.m. My name is Dawn Heger Nordblom, Chairperson of the Environmental Advisory Council. I'd like to call to order the meeting today, August 4th. The time is now 1 p.m. I'm just going to have some notes for everyone in case you had not been on this meeting before. The Environmental Review Program staff is hosting the meeting. Once the meeting begins, everyone will be muted for clearer audio. Board members, if you have any questions or comments, please unmute yourself to speak. It's important that all individuals clearly state their name, pseudonym, or other identifier name each time prior to speaking. This will help with the minutes or when we do them. So I really appreciate that. If you wish to provide oral testimony and you're attending virtually, please indicate so by raising your hand button found in the Zoom screen. If you're attending in person, which I don't think there is anyone at the moment, you'll be called to order in the order that you signed up. Before you begin your testimony, we ask you identify yourself and spell your name for the record. Your testimony will be related to an item on the agenda. All testimony will be limited to a maximum of 3 minutes. Sorry, that's my dog talking back to me. When time has elapsed, time will be called out, after which you'll have 30 seconds to conclude your testimony, and your audio will then be turned off. If you're attending in person, the presiding officer will call the next testifier. Keep in mind that this is an opportunity to share your thoughts with us. If you ask questions during testimony, neither the board nor the staff is required to provide an answer. If the advisory council's connection for the remote meeting is lost, the meeting will be recessed until the connection is restored. If the connection cannot be restored within 30 minutes, the meeting will be terminated and the advisory council will continue the meeting at another notice date. EAC board members, please remain visible and audible during the meeting. Also acknowledge you are present by either saying here or present. Let the record reflect the following members are present. Dawn Heger Nordblom, Chair, present. I'll just call out, I know Jay Stone is not here at this meeting today. Mark, do you want to say hello and introduce yourself and say present?
Yeah, hi, I'm Mark Gordon, living on the Big Island and present.
Thank you. And Michelle?
Michelle Lefebvre, also on the Big Island in Hilo, present and chair of the exemption.
Thank you. For today's meeting, board members will have an opportunity to ask questions and or provide comments after an agenda item has been presented. Individuals from the public who requested to provide public verbal testimony on a specific agenda item are on standby and will be permitted to provide their testimony respectively. So we'll go with agenda item number 1, which was a call to order, roll call, introductions, and quorum, which we just did. Are there any members of the general public who wish to provide comments about issues not on the agenda for possible inclusion on a future agenda? If so, please unmute yourself or raise your hand and unmute your video as well, please. I don't see anyone.
Dawn, did we want to have folks introduce themselves who are present on the call first?
Yes, I do. And I also want to have the ERP staff introduce themselves as well. Sorry about that. So Tom, we'll lead it with you.
Tom Eisen, Senior Planner in the Environmental Review Program here in the State Office Tower. And people can go around introducing themselves, starting with Mary Alice.
Mary Alice Evans, Director of the Office of Planning and Sustainable Development.
Isabel Scholes, Planner at the Office of Planning and Sustainable Development.
Daniel Pham, member of the ERP staff.
Okay, thank you. And then there are a number of people on the phone call. So Michelle, you wanted them to introduce themselves right now versus each topic. Okay. So
I just mean for the roll call, introductions. Just thought if.
Or did you want to do it when we're doing each agenda item and then the relevant department can introduce their staff? Does that make more sense?
Sure. Yeah, unless there's a member of the public that's not here for an agenda item.
Yeah, I think it looks like everyone's here from County of Maui, so, or the state. So, okay, so let me see. Michelle, I think I will be passing it to you as Exemptions Committee Chair.
Do we have item number 3 on the agenda? Review
Oh.
adoption.
I am sorry about that. Item number 3, so there is an error in the minutes. It's supposed to be June 6th, 2026, and instead the minutes say May 5th, 2026. So we'll be reviewing the minutes at the next meeting. So item number 3 is skipped.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks for catching that.
Sure. Okay. Well, then we can move to item number 4, which is exemptions committee. So County of Maui are the first 6 items on the agenda. We initially discussed 3 of these or 4 of these in our June meeting. So just as a little bit of history, Maui County previously concurred with list. The last time Maui County had a previously concurred with list, it was 2007. But it was for the entire county. So as we discussed in the June meeting, County of Maui has split it up by departments, which is really, really helpful. We really appreciate the effort that County of Maui has taken to do this work. So the first list is the Department of Environmental Management. This list was originally submitted on May 21st. We did discuss it at our June 2nd meeting. And then based on that conversation, County Maui DEM resubmitted on June 16th. So that's the list that is associated with today's agenda.
This is Caleb from the County of Maui. If I could just make a request, we do have the Assistant Fire Chief on the line who's here to help out with the County of Maui Department of Fire and Public Safety. He is kind of on a time constraint, so I was just hoping if maybe we could advance, I think it's 4C.
That's fine.
Start with that instead, if that's okay.
No problem. No problem.
Thank you.
We can switch the order. Everything I just said still applies because the original list was submitted 5/21. We discussed it at the 6/2 meeting, and it was revised on July 15th for the Department of Fire and Public Safety. Okay, so really appreciated the addition of page numbers and headers. It really helps distinguish between the different lists. So thank you very much for doing that. A couple just minor editorial things just in 1A on the very first page, just a couple of extra commas in there. Just some small editorial things after gates and pools and panels and shops. It's really just editorial, Caleb. So if you wanted to remove those. I had one question about the creation okay, so sorry, this is at the top of the second page, creation of temporary construction staging areas. And not that there's any issue with it being under type 1, part 1, operations, repair, or maintenance, but the same exemption is on page 4 under type 3, part 1. It's O, creation of temporary construction staging areas. And just wondering if there's some rationale for having it in both places. Again, it's just for tidiness. It's not wrong per se to have it in both places.
I do have my coworker who's the attorney who helped draft it, Christy Trenholm. If she's on the line, she could maybe answer that question better than I can.
Okay, hi, this is Christy.
Hi.
Hi. Okay, so just to track what you're looking at, what were the numbers again?
So it's at the top of page 2, creation of temporary staging or construction of temporary construction staging areas. So this is a part 1, type 1 exemption under operations, repair, and maintenance. And then also on page 4 under type 3, part 1 is number O, creation of temporary construction staging areas under the construction type 3. So again, just that the same exemption is in a couple of places, one under maintenance and operation activities and the other under construction activities. Again, it's fine. I mean, I don't have a major issue, just wondering if there was a rationale for it being in both places.
In my notes, I have that as something that the fire department added, so I don't know if our assistant chief, Gavin Fujioka, can comment on that.
Hi everyone. Yeah, I'm looking through it right now. I'm trying to recall. I'm not sure if we just added that in because it's in a different section, just as a catch, just in case it doesn't just so we catch it in a different, because it's under a different section.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that under the type 1, you're doing operations, repair, maintenance. You may need a temporary,
Right.
a temporary staging area for those activities. And then under type 3, where
Correct.
you're doing, new construction activities, you might need a temporary staging area for those. So that's fine. I just wanted to sort of make sure it was intentional that, it was there in 2 places for the 2 types
Correct.
of activities. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Noticed in let's see, on page 4, so that's type 3, number M, construction of fuel tanks. I was wondering if there was a sort of size that your department typically constructs, if it would be helpful for the public to know what size fuel tank, above ground fuel tanks, just with the sensitivity around fuel tanks. It might be helpful to have some, not larger than, or some specificity there, especially since this is under a part 1 exemption.
Okay. Yeah, I believe in our department we have, I believe, 14 locations currently, and I believe our largest fuel tank currently is 1,000 gallons. I know for sure that where I'm at in Kahului, it's an underground tank. We did have in our Wailea station, we also had an underground tank there that we just redid. And now, now we have an above ground tank in Wailea. So we have several locations. Most of our locations currently are above ground. As we move forward, anywhere from between 500 and 1,000 gallons of fuel.
It might be. I mean, again, just something to consider so the public isn't thinking we're building, 100,000 gallon. Not that the county would, but adding sort of that qualifier on M, constructions of fuel tank no larger than, and putting that in there again, just sort of the public then can know what to expect there.
Okay, we can work with Christy and
Okay,
make a change to that.
great.
Thank you.
Anything else from other members for the first couple of pages?
I have one for page 10, but we might not be yet. So should I ask now or ask later?
Yeah, I've got some before 10. So let's go, in order. But thank you, Don. Mark, did you have anything before 10?
Michelle was mentioning, I think it's a good point about the tanks. Is it possible, maybe running past the chief and their legal counsel, is it possible to say that the tanks will not exceed a certain amount? You know what I'm saying? So that the public knows that, okay, it's not, you gave a range, which is fine, but maybe the tank will not exceed, I'm throwing it out, 1,000 gallons. All of our tanks will not exceed 1,000 gallons under this exemption.
Yeah, we can do that for sure. I think what we'll do is we'll confirm all of our locations first, the size of the tanks, existing tanks, and then we can work with Christy from our corp counsel, and we can add that in if it's okay with Christy, guys. We have no problem with that.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, we can do that.
On page 5, type for number D, this is minor alterations. It includes subsurface installation of utilities, water, sewer, and irrigation. And for sewer, I was just wanted to clarify, are we talking about installation of wastewater treatment facilities? Or are we just talking about connector lines to county wastewater treatment? So I guess just when we say installation of utilities and we include sewer, what were we thinking there?
My understanding would be this would be just initial, like the smaller lines coming from an existing structure or a remodeled structure tying into the existing wastewater sewer lines.
Yeah, that makes sense. And so maybe then it would just be a word or two there clarifying laterals or lines or the appropriate term there, so it's not misconstrued as actually installing any wastewater treatment or any septic or because it just says sewer, so I thought it could be open there, but that totally makes sense. Yeah. On page 9, so this was part 2, type 3. D and M both include construction of lifeguard towers. D is construction and location, and M is construction or relocation. Just wondering if both are needed or just if just one of them.
Yeah, thank you for that. I think we would like to keep both of them in there. So if we could, rebuild or construct a location of a lifeguard tower, or if it needs to be changed because of its life, and we could replace it in the same area, that would be great. We all know, as we currently facing right now, we have some beaches where the erosion is getting really bad. And if we need to change or replace a tower, that might not be the best location to reinstall the tower because of the erosion we're getting from the sand. I believe we're dealing with 2 towers right now that is getting really close, and we're just hoping the towers won't fall in the water anytime soon.
Yeah.
So I think that relocation part is a big part for us as far as the beach for our lifeguard towers.
That totally makes sense. So maybe just to distinguish between the two, maybe M would be like reconstruction or relocation, so that it's clear that one we're talking about rebuilding within the same place, whereas D is referring to new construction in a new location. Something to consider there just to help distinguish between the two. Same page 9, P, installation of public safety lighting at existing beach parks and department facilities. One thing we've asked all the previous lists that have come through departments and agencies to add a clause that just says it is required, but I think it's just a nice thing to have in the list that exterior lighting would comply with HRS 201-8.5 or the night sky protection strategy. It's just nice to show the public that yes, it's required to comply, but nice to acknowledge it, I think, in the list.
Is it 201-8.5? Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm. Yep, the night sky protection strategy.
Michelle, is that HRS or what?
Yes.
Why?
HRS. Yes. That brings us to page 10, Don. I didn't have any other comments, but you had one on page 10.
Okay. I did have one question before that. So it's Department of Fire and Public Safety. I'm assuming that police department has their own list, or are they included in this list as well?
This is just for fire. Yeah, police is a separate department. So fire includes the ocean safety lifeguards.
Okay. Okay. And then my question is for page 10, beach nourishment, there's number C and number F. I'm just wondering, in what scenario was the department thinking that they would be using this criteria in? And the reason why I ask is because, there's a lot of concerns about beach nourishment in Kaanapali. And I just want to point out that, I want to make sure that we're doing the right thing in terms of asking the question. And, if there's any comment to DLNR or has something been understood. So I just thought I'd ask.
Christy, do you recall anything when you discussed this with Brad? I know there's a couple, like I mentioned earlier, we have one tower on the west side, Lahaina, that the sand has eroded and it's getting really close to our tower. And we've reached out to our parks department to see what can be done. They were gonna go check to see if we could get, or they could get clearance to put, sand or something back in to build up that sand that got eroded. So I'm not sure, 100% sure if this is what it's talking about. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's kind
Gavin,
of
I'm
a,
not, yeah, thank you. Not specifically, but I am assuming that was what it related to, kind of the ocean safety, those concerns the fire department has.
yeah, it's mainly any type of, because our towers sit mainly on sand, and we do have erosion issues. I think we're looking for some kind of possible exemption just in case we needed to do some restoration to avoid having our towers fall in the ocean.
Yeah, and that's completely understandable. I think from what everyone's facing in each department with climate change regarding fire, drought, climate change, sea
Absolutely.
level rise. So I think I'm fine with the list as is, but I would ask that some effort is made to talk to DLNR, Office of Conservation and Coastal Lands, and see if there's anything that they would recommend. And then this, correct me if I'm wrong, Michelle, but the list will be published in the environmental notice, or it has been already?
Once we've decided and we have moved to and approved to publish it, then it will be published in the environmental notice for a 2-week public review period.
Yeah. So I'm assuming that anyone who has comments will give significant comments on your list at that time too. So that's all my questions, really. Thank you.
Thanks, Don. Mark, did you have any other questions on the Department of Fire and Public Safety list?
Yeah, I do, Michelle. I had a question on it too, and it's just some logistics. I was going to ask the chief. Chief, you mentioned about the towers, basically being ocean towers being on sand, and this may not deal with the fire department. It may deal with the county's construction. But if you guys need to rebuild towers in the future, is there any way that they can be put on a stronger platform like concrete or something like that? I don't know if that's under your jurisdiction or if it's another county department that has to deal with that.
Yeah, so I think we're dealing with several lifeguard tower issues right now. So what we've kind of have been doing the last several years is we're trying to stay away from like building actual towers out of wood and concrete, because that triggers a lot of permitting and just red tape for us. We're kind of leaning more towards the pre-built fiberglass towers that sit on stainless steel skids that you see them all over here in Hawaii and also in the mainland. It's a little bit more, I guess, maneuverable or not so permanent. Like if we really needed to move the tower because of a erosion issue, we could bring a machine in there and we could actually unbolt the towers and we could pull it back on the sand or move it to a different location. That's kind of our stance right now. We're kind of moving to that type of lifeguard tower.
So right now, Chief, you're saying the towers are on sand, are they, or are they on this metal now?
No, a lot of them that are on skids are on sand. We have permanent lifeguard structures also that are built kind of with a concrete pad,
Right.
right, on foundation. And these are the ones that we can't move. I mean, it's kind of, yeah. So we're
But with
just,
the new ones you're mentioning, would that be putting it like, are the current ones solely on sand? Maybe I only clarify, solely on sand, or are they on the metal now, the current ones? Are you saying the current ones are on sand and you guys would be going to putting it more on metal? I'm just saying, in the future with erosion and everything.
yeah. So currently we have different types of towers. We have permanent structures that are kind of like on a grass that leads to sand, some that are kind of built close to a rock point. And the ones that we can get on a sand beach, we would prefer them to be built on a fiberglass tower with stainless steel skids. And so we can just slide them and move them in place. And if, like I said, if we need to move them, we can drag them around.
Okay, yeah, that would make more sense. Yeah, in case the sand's erosion or what, yeah, that would make sense. You guys
Yeah,
could easily move it. Yeah,
absolutely.
okay, great. Thank you.
You're
And
welcome.
I appreciate that explanation because as a resident of Maui, I certainly see different types of lifeguard towers, and I appreciate the fact that there's ocean safety available, you know. So I look forward to seeing more lifeguard towers.
Thank you.
Great. Okay, if there are no further comments for the board, then I move that with these minor edits that we discussed today, after if the department can resend us the list with those minor edits, that I recommend we publish this list for public review.
Motion seconded?
Don?
Motion seconded. Yeah.
Second.
Great. Any other discussion? All right, all in favor? Great. Thank you. So thanks again, Department of Fire and Public Safety, and thank you, Christy, for drafting the list. And if you want to just make these revisions that we discussed and then resend the list to ERP and myself so that it's ADA compliant or 508 compliant, then we can get it into the next environmental notice, and the deadline for publication. Let's see, the next notice will be, we're not going to make the 8th, but the 23rd of August is August 14th. So if you can resubmit by August 14th, then we can get it in the next edition.
Yes, we can do that. Thank you so much.
Chris, thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So now we'll bump back up to 4A, which is the Department of Environmental Management. Again, thank you very much to the County of Maui for making the edits that we discussed at the June meeting. Really appreciate both with all the lists, the tailoring of the activities, actions in the list. I think it's really helpful. I hope for the departments, but also as the public reads these and understands better what each department does. So realize this was a big effort, and we really appreciate it. Okay, well, we can dive into comments. Let's see. Yeah, okay. I don't know that I had. Oh, I think the only one that jumped out for me was the lighting requirement. So on page 6, number 27. So this is a part 1, type 3 exemption, installation of exterior lighting. And again, I would just add the phrase that we discussed for fire and public safety, which is reference to the night sky protection.
Michelle, what number is that, please?
That is on page 6. It's number 27.
Okay.
So it's type 3, number 27. Any questions from Maui?
Hi, everyone. My name is Andrew Nelson. I'm a deputy corporation counsel with County of Maui, and I worked with DEM on this list. And yep, got that note, and will make that change and run that by the department before sending it back in.
Perfect, perfect. Yeah, it's just the same language that we had for the other one, which was exterior lighting would comply with HRS 201-8.5, the night sky protection strategy. Thank you, appreciate that. I honestly, I thought it was pretty straightforward. I didn't really have any other comments. Don or Mark, did you have any other comments on the list?
I have a minor comment. So page number 1, all the County of Maui lists are all the first paragraphs are the same, but this one is a little different. So I didn't know if Andrew, you wanted to just look at the other lists and just use the same language, or you wanted to go with this language. It's fine. It says the same thing. It's just, 4 lists say the same language and your list may not. And then I had a question. What is a cathodic protection system? I wasn't sure what that was.
What page is that on, Don?
Oh, I'm sorry. Page 2, item number 6, equipment installation. But I just didn't know what it was, so I thought I'd ask.
Sorry, page 2, number 6?
2, exemption type 1, item number 6, equipment installations, including but not limited to pumps, et cetera, et cetera. And the very end is cathodic protection systems.
Got you.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I'm not too sure either. That language, I believe, came from a City and County of Honolulu Department of Environmental Services list that had been approved in 2021.
Okay.
But I think that it relates to cathodes and electronic equipment.
Okay.
The internet tells me it is a technique to control the corrosion of a metal surface by making it the cathode of an electrochemical cell. I did not know this either using galvanic or impressed current methods.
Oh, we have somebody said that as well. Thanks. I think James, I appreciate that. And
Don, I was going to ask you one thing too.
Yeah.
If I didn't want to interrupt.
No.
Yeah, I had worked for Ford Motor before, and one thing when you mentioned cathodic protection, it's usually a lot of times was used on the vehicles, and like they're saying, it is kind of a coating, and it's prevent corrosion and things like that. So it's a kind of the coating, at least for the cars, that they put it over the cars, especially in more rough environments, that protected it from corroding. So cathodic, it's an like you said, it's an electronic process they put on metal to reduce corrosion. Is really kind of in a nutshell.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. I don't have any further questions, so I appreciate it. Oh, I did have one thing on page 10 of 10, exemption type 6, number 1A, or I'm sorry, is it 1A? Yes, 1A. The structure does not have archaeological, historic, architectural, or cultural significance to the historic district as determined by the state. Do you want to just put in DLNR as a reference, since that's what Shipley is under? Just a question.
Sure. Yep, that sounds good. We'll go ahead and make that change as well.
Great. And that's it for me.
And I don't have anything else, Michelle. Thanks.
Since these are very minor edits, sort of the same as fire and public safety, I then move that we, with these minor edits, move to approve to publish this list for public review. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
We got it, Dawn saying, tag, you're it.
All right. Any other discussion?
No.
All in favor? Great. Thanks again. Thanks, Andrew and your staff for the work of splitting this, really making it more tailored to your department. We really appreciate the effort.
Thank you.
All right, so
Thank
if you do the same
Thank
thing,
you.
just submit the list by August 14th, ADA compliant, then we can include it in the next, the ERP can include it in the next edition. of the environmental
right.
notice.
Will do. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so 4B is just to acknowledge that the County of Maui rescinded the Department of Finance list. So that was originally submitted May 21st. We briefly discussed it at the June meeting, but it has been since rescinded. So no further discussion on that today. That brings us to D, which is County Maui Department of Parks and Recreation exemption list. Again, this one was submitted originally in May, discussed at the June meeting, and then resubmitted. And again, really appreciate those different people working on different lists. I just want to say thank you to all of you that did that work of really tailoring the list to each of your departments. It just reads really great, and it's clear that you guys put a lot of thought into what works for each department. I hope, and really helping to communicate that to the public. So thank you. Appreciated. With this list again, the page numbers and the headers, I think it just helps the public. With that, I had a few specific comments. Maybe we just go page by page. Don, did you have any?
Not for the first page.
Okay. I guess generally some of my comments will fall. This is a little just, I guess, personal bias. Both my kids are swimmers, and so I sort of kept seeing places where we could add sort of aquatic facilities or pools. So a few of mine will fall in that category. Just again, I want to find ways to help the county streamline those repairs and fixes. So I think the first one for me was on page 2. Again, just because something's not on the list doesn't mean you can't do an exemption for that activity. I think it helps future staff. If it's listed there, then I don't have to go through that thinking process again. And it lets the public know, right? It's a way to communicate to the public the types of activities that the public does. So I think it was just like on page 2 under N, where it was, renovation and rehabilitation of existing park buildings. And then it lists a bunch of stuff. There was no aquatic facilities there. And I thought, again, it's not that you couldn't do that exemption for that type of facility, but I thought if it was listed there, that would be helpful. So whether you said pools or, something more general like aquatic, what does the county use as a general term for pools? Is it aquatic facilities?
Yes. Sorry, this is Christy Ricklesworth. I helped the Department of Parks and Recreation with this list, so I'll be taking notes. And there's also a representative from DPR here as well.
Okay. And who is that? Just for the notes, so we know which ones are representing which agency.
Department of Parks and Recreation, and it's Shara.
Oh, Shara.
Cheryl,
Shara.
are you on?
Oh, Shara. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Great.
Okina. Yes.
Thank you. Great. I know at our pool, installing or repairing diving blocks and or starting blocks and diving platforms. So I just figured if you use aquatic facilities, then you could encompass all those things and hopefully make it easier to repair and construct those.
Mm-hmm.
And Michelle, I think you're asking too, does Department of Parks and Rec have pools, right? And I believe there is Sakamoto pool and then the county pools in Pukalani and also in Wailuku and Lahaina.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And Kihei, yes.
And Kihei.
Mhm.
The nice one.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Similarly on page 3, E, where it just says repair and replace parks and rec buildings, comfort stations, athletic fields, athletic courts. Again, just adding aquatic facilities in there.
Dawn, real quick, can we go back to page 2?
Yeah.
Real quick. Under L, chemical control of vectors. For the public's benefit, do we need to mention about, certain chemicals they're going to use or they're not going to use that would be exempt, or what do you think on that?
This is a really common one in all part one, type one lists, that there's a general statement about vector and pest control. Yeah, without listing specifics, just like we wouldn't get into specifics of, what chemicals are used for, treating grass, or which ones they're dumping in the pool, or which ones they're, it could get, complicated. And I think you've got to comply with all the, county and state and federal regulations for handling those
Yeah, I
chemicals.
see your point too. And then if they listed certain ones, what if we left certain ones out, or certain ones didn't work, or the public has an outcry and they want them to use something else?
Right.
Yeah, I say, and I imagine if somebody wanted to, a public of the public, they could always find out, and hey, say, what do you use materials, and then the county could supply it. Yeah, okay, thanks.
I did have a question on page 2 as well, Michelle.
Mhm.
So item number page 2 of 12, and it's item number K, removal of sand from ocean ponds of drainage ways for maintenance purposes as permitted by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers and the State Department of Health. Do you want to also add Department of Land and Natural Resources, since they're the major permit approval person? That would be great. Thank you.
Yes, we'll add that. Thank you.
Anything else on page 3?
No.
Page 4, for N, again, just with the installation of lighting, I recommend adding that exterior lighting would comply with the night sky protection strategy, and would also throw in aquatic facilities. I mean, it says general facilities, but it says public land facilities, parks, play courts, ball fields. Aquatic would be nice. Okay. Anything else on page 4? Okay. I didn't have anything on 5 or 6.
Nope.
I noticed, I think it was Fire and Public Safety had trainings under Type 8, continuing administrative activities. Again, I don't think it's necessary for the list, but yeah, it occurred to me like lifeguard training, other kind of trainings that might occur for Parks and Rec. But I mean, I think it fits under other categories. I just happened to notice there were trainings in the other list, but trainings weren't listed here. Just something to consider, but I don't think it's critical.
Yeah, I think it does include under G, it does say training, but I'm not sure if that's what you're talking about. Okay.
No, that's fine. I just didn't see it there. Perfect. Great. I didn't have anything until page 9. Did anybody have anything before page 9?
Nope.
No.
Just wondered about type 3 C, construction or placement of energy facilities, including but not limited solar systems, energy storage, and combined heat and power. I guess we're thinking like that would like energy generating facilities, like where there would be solar panels, like and the batteries associated with them to store the energy. Yeah, and that would be like just locally for the building that it was on, or that it would distribute power across multiple structures. I guess like how big of a facility is what I'm getting at.
It would probably be limited to the facility that it's at.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Realizing, of course, that Parks and Rec is not in the business of like creating a bunch of power and like distributing it. So I think it's pretty clear from what you guys do. But it might be worth just adding a part to that sentence that just says limited to. Trying to figure out how to put some bounds on it so it doesn't sound like you're distributing energy. Again, not that anybody would think that you would be, but
John, Michelle, how about limited
Yeah.
to a specific structure? I'm just throwing it. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I don't
I'm
want to.
just
I don't want
trying
to
to.
cobble you guys too much, but
Yeah.
under a certain megawatts, or I don't know, just something that might help to put some bounds. That it's not like you're creating a neighborhood hub.
And I think, as we've seen in other lists, that if things are not clarified with language, it tends to become a bigger issue with the general public. So we're just trying to make sure that the general public is aware of the intent of the department at that time.
Yeah, thanks, Don. Yeah, exactly. So I guess I leave it to you to think how best to do it, that it doesn't keep you guys from doing anything, but sort of provide some clarity that it's for,
Yeah.
only for structures that Parks and Rec are using, or only limited to the area where I don't know. I let you guys think of the best way to phrase it, but okay. Page 10. It was mentioned in other places, but in H, it doesn't mention athletic courts. It says construction of sports-related improvements, including ball field fencing. I don't know if athletic courts, like tennis courts, are included in that, but if they are, it might be good to list them there.
Michelle, I have a comment kind of related to page 9 and 12. So, of course, the hard topics are beach nourishment, of course, and also seawalls. So what I would ask is that, like I had asked for fire and public safety for the department, or to reach out to DLNR and just touch base with them, make sure that, you guys are just having a conversation. I'm fine with the language, but I think that I think maybe you want to talk to DLNR about, just making sure that they're okay with the language too, since they're the major permit people who do approvals. So that would be Office of Conservation and Coastal Lands. And then I did have a question for type 4, item BI. The seawall, retaining wall, or armoring has been certified as structurally unsound by a structural engineer. Is it structural or is it coastal engineer? Or does it matter for Maui County? Does it give credence to use one term or the other? I just think that's my question. Sure.
I think that was language that was used in the past, or maybe it was taken from a different exemption list that was approved. But I don't think it matters that much. I mean, I think structural engineer, coastal engineer may be different. Structural engineer is probably more of the service that's needed, potentially.
Okay. Again, I think the list will go out and you'll probably get some comments if there are people who are watching, seawalls and sand nourishment. So I'm fine with the edits and comments that have been made so far.
Can you tell me again the number you were talking about that wanted to mention Office of Conservation and Coastal Lands?
Yeah, so it'd be page 10, number 4, type 4, HAR 11-200.1-15 C4, minor alterations on the conditions of land and water or vegetation.
Mm-hmm.
And I probably just ask the Office of Conservation and Coastal Lands about A, B, C, and D, and just run that language through them. And then I would actually also say page 9, type 1, HAR 11-201.1, 1-15 C1, also the seawall retaining two items: A, repair and maintenance of existing legal, non-conforming or permitted seawall retaining walls which involve no expansion, and B, repair and maintenance of slope stabilization.
But Don, are they asking OCCL whether or not this should be an exemption or not, or I mean, because OCCL has its jurisdiction, but you know, I don't know that it's OCCL's call whether the county chooses this action as exempt from
Yeah,
preparing an EA or.
that's completely true. I think, again, you know, just because of some issues with prior lists, it'd be nice to make sure that there is some interconnectivity. That's all. But yeah,
or whether they're seeing those actions, whether they're seeing EAs prepared for those actions, because I mean that's the question of whether it's on this list or not, is whether it should be exempt from.
I think because, you know, the language may have been taken from other lists. I just want them to understand the full context of what the language is saying. That's all. It's up to you, Maui County, if you decide to talk to OCCL or not, you know, certainly. But I'm just saying from what I've seen, you know, seawalls, retaining walls, sand beach nourishment are all big issues right now, especially for Maui. So you know that. So.
Yeah, because I think you were saying maybe just have the language reviewed so that it is using the proper terminology or yeah.
Not
Okay.
whether they agree, but
Yeah.
you know, I mean, if they don't, they'll let you know, but at least you'll have a good understanding of the basis, right? And I think at the end of the day, we all want to move forward with more information, not less. So
Yeah, I think that the trend has been, and they're not proposing here that, you know, sort of the construction of new seawalls. I think that
yes,
the trend has been away from exempting construction of new seawalls because because of all those issues. So certainly, yeah, appreciate the changes in time and appreciate your attention to this, Dawn.
It's more like, please just be aware.
For sure, understood. No, that's a good point.
So
I just wanted to distinguish from the permitting process.
So yes, absolutely. And so for the next meeting, everything goes smooth. That's all.
Actually, on page 10, just above that, under I and J, under the type 3, there's construction of interior roadways. It appears twice. I mean, the I and J are only slightly different. I guess, was there a reason for splitting those two out, or would it make sense to combine I and J?
The only difference I see is one is talking about existing park facilities, and the other one is
construction
related structures. Yeah, construction. Yeah.
Okay. So maybe it's intentionally separate, one to be within existing facilities, and the other one. Okay, that's fine. If it's intentional, that's fine, and it works for you guys. I don't see an issue with that. Those are all the comments I had. Don and Mark, do you have anything else?
Nope.
Great. Then I move that we, with these minor edits that we discussed, approve to release the list for public review in the next edition of the environmental notice. And a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Great. So same as before.
Thank you.
Submitted ADA compliant. That way we can include it in the next edition. BRP can include it in the next edition of the environmental notice. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That brings us to item E, which is County of Maui Department of Public Works. And who do we have from Public Works?
Good afternoon. My name is Paul Barony. I'm the Deputy Director for Public Works for the County of Maui.
Good afternoon. I'm Michael Hopper, Deputy Corporation Counsel with Maui County.
Perfect. Great. Thank you. Again, thanks to you and all the County of Maui for redoing these lists. Really appreciate the effort you guys put in. This was a new list, so not one we had previously discussed. Very few comments. My first comment is on page 5. Dawn or Mark, did you have any comments before page 5?
No.
No.
Pretty straightforward. Page 5, at the bottom was acquisitions of interest, including fee simple, quick claim easements. And I just wondered if that fit better under type 8, continuing administrative activities, just in terms of the nature of those activities.
Well, I think it could be either. I think the acquisition could be in conjunction with those types of projects, but I think that if it fits better in the other category, we could do that.
No, I see what you're saying. The point being that with construction, there could be these acquisitions of interest,
easements and things. Yes, and the department can comment if they want to. But yeah,
no. I think that's fine. I think it was just sort of, was there a reason that it was there, or would it fit better under 8? Yeah, I don't think it's in the wrong place. It's just more of a question. I think it's fine where it is, and with understanding that connection.
Yeah, so let me verify that because it is listed in our general type 8 as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there could be there's separate sections that if it qualifies under both, I think the county would like to potentially use both of those categories if available. So I think the constructions and also regular activities as well. Sorry about that.
I think if you have a rationale for it being in both places, I don't have a concern. That was my only comment. This was pretty to the point, pretty straightforward.
I do have a comment. Page 10 for item number 3, demolition of structures, item A. Can you just please add DLNR after state? So I'll say state DLNR, Historic Preservation Division, and that's my only comment.
Yep.
Okay.
Got it. Thank you.
Anything else, Don or Mark?
No.
Good job.
Yeah. Good job. Okay, then I move to publish the Department of Public Works County Maui's list for public review. Second.
Second.
Thanks, Mark. Any other discussion? All in favor? So, same as before, Paul and Michael just resubmit with that minor edit and see that it's 508 compliant, and then we can publish in the next edition of the environmental notice.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Okay, now we go on to County Maui Department of Water Supply. And who do we have on the line for that list?
Hi, this is Caleb. I'm covering that one.
Great.
And I believe we have James and Chris from Department of Water Supply online as well.
Yes, my name is Chris Burkham. I'm with the Department of
Thank you.
James Jensen, you said also?
Yeah, I don't know if he's still online. He was earlier, but
He's there.
I have been pulled into another meeting. Just give me a yeah.
I have just very few comments. Recently, just wanted to make you aware, and I know if you had seen, but County Hawaii had published recently concurred with list Department of Water Supply had, and I saw in many ways you guys had covered a lot of the same thing, a lot of the same activities, which makes sense. I imagine the two counties do similar types of work. But did you guys see that list had recently been published?
I don't think I reviewed that one. I know that I looked over city and counties and Kauai counties when I drafted this one. I don't remember Hawaii County.
Okay.
So if that's a new one, I probably didn't.
Okay. Again, really, really similar. I didn't see anything that was like, oh, they talked about this, and you guys didn't. If it did, it was so similar. I didn't think it needed to be, but it may be worth if you want to take a look at that. It's on the ERP website under the I think they've been archived because they were pre 508 versions, but they are there, or it is there on the website. But one thing I did notice on page 2 that County Hawaii did have was vector control under type 1. Came up earlier when Mark mentioned it, and several of the other agencies include vector and pest control. They're under type 1, so I guess consider that under removal of dirt, rock, and debris, or somewhere in that operations, repairs, and maintenance type, just for coverage.
Sorry, what was that? That was vector control.
Most of
Did you
us
mention
have
one other thing?
Vector and pest, but
Okay.
vector is I think inclusive.
Yeah.
Anything else, Don or Mark, from page 1 or 2?
No.
Okay. On page 3 for K, with the installation of lighting, same as we discussed before, the night sky protection, HRS, adding reference to that.
Okay, to 3K. Okay. Just a question on that, and I guess that this would apply to the other departments as well. I did just look up 201-8.5, and it appears that only applies to state agencies and not county agencies. So is the intent that we're being asked to comply with a state requirement, or?
I guess
I haven't really done the research to whether or not the county is considered to be a state agency.
I do recall this discussion happening. This was when the previous chair of this committee was on board. I do recall the discussion that this is a state requirement, but I believe that most counties comply with this, even though it is a state law. But I guess that would be a good thing to confirm before we.
Do you think it would be okay if I kind of put in there something like to the extent permitted by law?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
For sure.
And then if I could do that for those other.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think it's just acknowledging we're not putting lights in,
and I
messing with
I just looked that up while you were talking about.
Thank you. And I haven't looked it up since.
Aware.
Yeah, I just went back to the previous list, and I remember our previous chair was real, just really hoping to sort of get that to be acknowledged and common practice. And I think it is, but to your point, we should be sure that we're not committing to something that's. Yes, Mary Alice, I see your hand up.
I'd like to add that there was a bill in this year's legislature that would have expanded the nighttime light protection statute to include counties. The counties testified against it, and the bill died. So it's clear that at this point, the current statute does only apply to the state agencies, and with many exemptions for that. However, for properties in the special management area under CZM, there is a different statute that does provide an element of an SMA permit should comply with shielded nighttime lights that do not shine across onto near-shore waters. That's to protect seabirds and turtles. So that's a different statute, and that because the counties do implement 205A, which is the Coastal Zone Management Act, that does apply to facilities, private and public, that are need a Special Management Act permit to build or something new along the shoreline that includes nighttime lights. And then I think Caleb, you probably know that Maui County has its own county ordinance, to protect seabirds. And so therefore, perhaps the more relevant citation would be to the county ordinance.
Okay, so I'm just wondering if maybe then for the reference to outdoor lighting that we've included for all these, we put something to the extent of outdoor lighting shall comply with HRS 201-8.5 to the extent required by law, as well as requirements of the Coastal Zone Management Act, and and I can cite the county ordinance as well. I'm wondering if that might be a good thing to do across all of them.
So should that bill be reintroduced next session, and should it be amended to prove acceptable to the legislature and governor, then your language would mean you wouldn't have to revisit this exemption. So
correct.
Good choice.
Right. Okay. Thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you, Mary Alice. That's really helpful. And thank you, Caleb, for catching that before we finish.
Yeah, thank you.
So we can apply that retroactive to the list we've discussed before. Thank you. Same page on 3, again, the construction of fuel tanks, and I think we discussed it a little bit earlier with fire and public safety. Just recommend maybe a maximum size on those fuel tanks as part of that exemption.
Okay. Where was that again? Sorry.
Same page 3. It's M. So number 3, type 3, M as in
okay.
Michael, construction of fuel tanks.
Okay.
Michelle, I have
Yeah.
I just checked the regs. I know we had a question on it, so I pulled it up since I do a lot of stuff like you do too, but for safety and environmental. So I looked at HB 1579, the current bill, that the legislature has, and it does say that it is limited to. It doesn't say limited, but it says to state agencies. It doesn't say anything unless I missed something, but basically it says now this applies to blah, 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 to address light pollution from state agencies.
Yeah. So I think that the language that we came up with, to the extent practicable, or to the extent Caleb, to the
required
extent
by law. Yeah.
Required by law, then I think we've got it covered, and they're not required to do more than is required. I didn't have any other comments, Don or Mark.
Nope.
I had one comment, page number 4, item number 5, type 5, number L. If you could just add DLNR after state of Hawaii, that would be good. Just so you're referencing the department, division, etc. Thank you. Oh, I did have a question, Caleb. So, and a lot of these other lists too, and I know you can't answer it, there's a lot of reference to the community development block grant. Is that just, you want to make sure that whatever actions are happening now under that financial grant is identified? I think. Yeah.
Yes, that's correct. A lot of the repair work that we're doing is being done under that grant, so we just kind of want to make sure that any things that are funding for them, these exemptions would still apply to.
Okay, thank you. I have no further questions.
No, I don't either.
Okay. And I move with the minor edits that we suggested and discussed, that we approve or move to approve this list for publication and environmental notice. Get a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Great. So same as the others, Caleb.
Okay, awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for your time. Okay, moving on to 4G, State of Hawaii Department of Agriculture and Biosecurity. Who do we have for that list today?
Hi, I'm Bryce Yoshimori with the Agricultural Resource Management Division, engineer here.
And I'm Janice Fujimoto,
Thank you.
also with Ag Resource Management Division.
For attending, and thank you very much for submitting a list. We received that on July 2nd. And yeah, we appreciate you taking the time and drafting up this list. Can you tell us a little bit about what the department, I'm not super familiar with the Department of Agriculture and Biosecurity. Can you tell us a little bit about what your agency does, kinds of projects?
Well, this list is specifically for our division only. So we we lease out farmlands to farmers, and we provide irrigation water. So we collect surface water and store them in reservoirs, which includes dams in some cases, and then it's distributed to the farmers. So we have we manage lands on Oahu, Molokai, Big Island, mostly on those islands.
But not on Maui or Molokai, or you said Molokai, but not on Maui
or Kauai.
Oh, we don't have irrigation systems there, but
okay.
Is that ADC on Kauai then? That does. I mean, do they do similar?
So unfortunately, you're getting half of our division here. We're in the irrigation branch of our division. We also have a land branch that oversees our leases. I kind of anecdotally want to say that maybe we do have some lands on Kauai and Maui that we do lease out, but I can't say for certain. We can speak a little more confidently about the irrigation side of the house.
Oh, certainly. We just trying to get some context for the list. We not too long ago reviewed the ADC list, and I did see some you had looked like you
similar. I'm sure.
Some of their lists, which was great because they did a very comprehensive, and I think you guys did as well. So I just wanted to understand how much overlap there was with that.
Absolutely. We kind of do similar things. We just have different lands and different systems.
Perfect. That's just a picture. Yeah, thank you very much.
So we based our list off of their list, so it's very similar.
I saw a lot of similarities there. I pulled it up because I was like, if they do similar stuff, it makes sense that they should use a list that's already been concurred with. So good job being efficient with that. So since the Department of Agriculture is a state agency, then I think it is appropriate on page correct me if I'm wrong, to under number 3, which has installation of security lights and alarms that any exterior lighting would comply. Yes, Mary Alice, correct me if I'm wrong.
The many exemptions in that chapter, so you can't apply the regulations for statutory language for all state lights, because there's the statute exempts a lot of state lights, and I have types of state lighting, and I have a feeling that security lights are exempted.
Oh, okay. Then I present my comment. Pretend I didn't say on that. Thank you, Marianne.
Can you see what item that was again?
Oh, well, I don't think it applies. So it was, but it was on number 3 on page 2. We were just discussing whether that requirement would apply to security lights, and it appears that it does not. So nothing should I'm not recommending any change there. Don't think I had, nope, I didn't have any other comments. Again, I felt like it really followed the ADC list. I didn't see anything else. I don't know, Dawn, Mark, did you have any?
No,
No.
I appreciate both of you showing up. And maybe this is a question for your land division, or land portion. Page 14, number 15 and number 16 both refer to DLNR. And I'm not sure, is the land just acquired always from DLNR or is it from other agencies as well? But maybe that's a question that you might not know.
I'm pretty certain it's just from DLNR.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other?
But we can double check, and if there's any other agencies, we should add them in.
Yes, I think so.
Thank you for that. Yeah. Okay.
I think so.
I mean, there's not many agencies that transfer land, but you never know.
Okay, thanks.
Beyond that specific point, I was curious how other divisions in the department, I mean, if this exemption list is intended to only apply to your division, how do other divisions deal with exemptions of 343 in general?
So our other, the rest of the department has a separate list, which I think probably needs to be updated, but I can't speak for them, but I can remind them to update their list.
That'd be great. That'd be great. Thank you. Any other comments? Thanks, Tom. Okay, well then I will move to, I don't know if we had any revisions to the list, only to check the DLNR comment. So I move to publish the list for public review. Second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? All right, all in favor? Great. So same with the others, if you'll send us or send myself an ERP and ADA compliant version of the list, we can publish in the next version of the environmental notice. Thank you so much. The 14th, I think I had just looked for the 23rd publication of August. Yeah, so a little bit before the 14th if possible, just so we ERP has time to double check the ADA compliance.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Last but not least, Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. Thank you for your patience. So sorry. We went in the order that the lists were received, and we got yours on July 9th. So who do we have for?
No problem, Michelle. This is Hal Alejandro. I'm the chief planner with the Department of Correction and Rehabilitation Capital Improvement Planning section. On board, we have the Barza Kubota team. I'll have them introduce themselves. Barza Kubota.
Hello, Ronald Sato with Bars and Kubota.
Hi, Noah Tabar with Bars and Kubota.
And I'm Jared Chang, also with Bars and Kubota. Hello.
Hi.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks. All right, well, we can jump right in. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This is the first time, right, your agency has developed an exemption list? I thought I checked.
Yeah, historically, we've been using the DAGS exemption list. And back in 2019, they advised us to pursue our own exemption list. So this is the time that we're now pursuing it and getting it kind of completed. So we appreciate all your help.
Great. Great. It's good to know. Good to know the history too. I noticed on the first page, there's the part 3 actions, and I know this has come up in some previous lists, and I know the council or the committee chair before me has sort of steered agencies away from this part 3 action. I don't know, Tom or Mary Alice, does ERP have a position on sort of this part 3 action in terms of consistency with the rules, this emergency actions?
Yeah, well, the rules don't speak to a part 3. I think one agency just kind of created it themselves to isolate emergency actions, which the rules do speak to, but not as a portion of exemption.
So you can exempt things with that fall under this emergency action, but in terms of including it as a part within the list, I guess there's nothing in the rules that identifies a part 3, right?
Correct. It's an anomaly in that.
So I guess our recommendation would be that not that we call it out in the list as the part 3. Yeah, Ron.
Hi, sorry. We Department of Transportation has that under their exemption list that's been approved by the council. So we thought it would be good for Department of Corrections as well to have that because their facilities are very important. If some hurricane or damage on the neighbor islands, they need to quickly get in and take care of repairs as needed. So again, DOT has it on their exemption list, so we think it's a good idea to have that for them.
Yeah, that's what Tom said. One agency did it, and I think it was discussed, and I think when others have come forward, we've not recommended it, but certainly if you feel strongly to have it, and I don't. There's nothing in the rules that identifies a part 3, but the rules do speak to the ability for the agency to make these, to take these actions under an emergency situation without having to be explicit in the exemption list. So the ability to do that is not sort of dictated by whether or not it's my understanding whether or not it's in the list. Is that right, Tom?
Correct. I would just say if it's going to stay in here, and I haven't gone through the language closely, that it's consistent with what the rules talk about for emergency actions. So if you're integrating some language into the exemption list speaking to emergency actions, that it's consistent with basically 11-200.1-8 B and C. That's where the rules talk about emergency.
And Tom, this is what they cite under the part 3 actions. It says DC3 or DCR has added a part 3 action category to address it better. So all necessary DCR emergency actions that are not listed under part 1 exemption types and are subject to the provisions of 8.2B and C. So that is mentioned. Again, I think it's just that part 3 language that isn't.
Well,
go ahead.
Sorry. No. Well, we can talk to DCR if maybe want to change that instead of calling it a part 3 action, if that's what the hang up is. But
I'm wondering about that, Tom. What if we didn't refer to a part 3 action, but just there's another category part 1 and part 2.
Michelle, this is Hal with DCR. Since we're a 24/7 operation, we're acted upon to provide emergency public safety services, and because of that, I don't know if removing this, it might be in our favor, because we learn our experience. We had experience with potential riots before, and the emergency actions where we have to do needed repairs. And if this is going to harm us from addressing emergency actions as a result of potential riots and public safety concerns.
Oh no, I definitely understand. I want to make clear that your ability to take those emergency actions is not dictated by what's in this exemption list. That is dictated by the rules, and you have those rights to take those. I'm not saying take those actions, but take those actions and call them emergency actions. That's not dictated by the list. I think I'm just getting in the weeds here since we've got ERP here and the rule experts understood that it's approved in a previous list. I guess we're trying to get away from it becoming a trend not to take away the agency's ability to do the activities, but calling it a part 3, which is not consistent with the rules. So I think maybe Ronald's hitting on it. Maybe we just take out that part 3 part and just, just acknowledging, hey, there could be emergency actions. We have the right under, 2B, 82BC, 2B and C to do these actions. I think that's probably going to take away. And now everybody will cite your list and say, look, DCR did it in this very creative way, and maybe we'll copy that. But yeah,
We can look into that.
rest assured that your ability to do that is not affected how we phrase it. Here, we just don't want it phrased in a way that makes it sound like there's a part 3 in the rules, which.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. So maybe just, addressing that part. Tom, do you think that's?
Yeah, I think that's a good way. The rules already provide for it, so just
right. So it's just citing the rules, saying, hey, also guys, we can take it under emergency action. So moving on to the list, and this really applies just to type 1. The first few pages. So there's the type 1 activities, and then sorry, the cat is not where she's supposed to be. So type 1 got operation, repairs, and maintenance, including but not limited to, and then there's a list of the types of facilities, right? So you've got buildings and structures, equipment, site improvements, and infrastructure. And then under each of those types it's a list of facilities, in a sense. And at the end of each of those, like for example, at the top of page 4, L and M switch from the type of facility to actions, right? So everything from 1A to 1A or to 1K are things, right? And then L and M are actions to those things. You see what I mean? So usually the we have a type, and then we have the activities that would be exempt under that type. And the way that it's organized now, I think I see your logic, which is, we would be doing operations, repairs, or maintenance to these kinds of facilities. But then from it to switch from a list of things to certain actions, like Elsa's in general, we would repaint, re-roof. I just wonder if those activities, if they apply. So if L and M apply to everything from A to K, then maybe just sort of reorganizing it, right?
Okay. Yeah, we can revise it.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, we can revise it. Yeah.
I mean, I really like it how it's broken out by the type of facility. It was just confusing that at first it's a list of stuff and then the action. So I was like, well, if the action came first and then
Okay.
what it applies to, I think it might help. And then the same under equipment, right? So at the bottom of page 4, A through K again are the things, and then L is that right? Yeah, and then L is just one of. Well, that's not quite the action, but I think you understand what I'm trying to say. Is I guess just rephrase the introduction of each of those to say what are the activities that would apply to these facilities, and if it's operation, maintenance, and repair of existing facilities, and those. I'm talking too much, but I think you know what
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, we can take care of that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the similar under type 2. So on page, at the end of page 5, again, it's a list. And then when we get to L, M, and N, again, those are the activities that seem like they're applying to the facilities above. So yeah, same idea.
Okay, sure, no problem.
Same with type 3. Again, a list, and then on page 8 it says now we're talking about installations including. So again, it's a list of things versus activities. I think it's the same. Yeah. Okay. I think it's just a matter of phrasing the introduction. I think
Sure.
you're sort of borrowing the type as the intro, but maybe it would be helpful to just clarify that.
Okay, sure.
Okay, that takes us to page 8. I've covered a lot. Don and Mark, do you have anything?
Nope.
Yeah, Michelle, yeah, I had a question on page 5.
Okay.
Number 4. Let me see, what was it? Number 4, what was it? Bravo, waste treatment facilities. Would that, just since, I'm not totally familiar with all exemptions, would that be considered an exemption because it's a major work, or would it necessarily fall under exemptions? Because putting in a wastewater treatment facility is a major thing.
Well, it's under type 1. So type 1 is just operation, repair, or maintenance of existing facility. So
okay.
So again, this is just the sort of the phrasing. I think the activity needing to come before. So.
Okay, so it's not necessarily installing facilities; it's mainly repairing existing. Okay.
Yeah, and it's this is Hal. Yeah, it's not only to repair the existing, but to upgrade the existing to satisfy current monitoring and Department of Health requirements. Yeah.
All right. Thanks.
At the top of page 9, I just wondered under 10A, it's got acquisition, subdivision, consolidation, less than an acre. I just wondered, do you need to limit the size? I just don't want to make more work than has to be, but was there a rationale for making it less than an acre?
No, we can talk to Al, but we can take it out. But we're thinking these are small acquisitions of one acre, but we can make it little. We can take out the.
Only I understand if we're not talking about hundreds of acres, but I hate for the department to have a 1.2 acre facility that then is just above. I think still, again, it doesn't have to be explicit in the list, but I think under 10 acres or something like that might just give you a little more flex. But what works for you guys?
I guess. Sorry. I guess the reason it was there is because those are considered the part 1 action, which requires nothing. If it's less than an acre, they just do it.
Yeah.
And I think
that's good rationale.
On the part 2, we have is covered as well, acquisition, and that might be some of the larger, but certainly.
Well, that rationale makes sense. Well, the rationale makes sense to me. I think that's totally fine.
We'll talk with him.
Yeah, the 1 acre component is just for us to stay away from doing NPDES compliance.
If there's your rationale, then I don't need to mess with. We don't need to mess with that.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's I think under 9 and 10 under part 2, just on page 15, I think just adding none just makes it a little more clear that you're not proposing any exemptions for that type, similar to what other agencies have done. If there's none there, then just none, so the public's not looking for something there.
I'm sorry. So what page was that again?
On page 15, just 15. Under type 9 and 10, it appears you're not proposing any.
Okay, I see.
Any exemption, so just none or not applicable.
None. Okay, sure.
So it just doesn't look like there's something missing.
Okay, no problem.
Don or Mark, did you have any other?
No, I just wanted to say, I think for the department's first time doing an exemption, and maybe you can chime in, Michelle, I think they did a very nice job. There's correction, sure. But the first time we've seen other agencies that have done it in the past, and for their first time, I thought it was done well.
And the Department of Corrections is going to be really good at making corrections.
No pun intended. Yeah.
That would be great.
And thank you, Michelle and Mark. And just to add, I was hearing you guys' conversation with the Maui folks. I feel like I'm at home with the Maui folks. I'm an old Punane boy, but just to let you know, we did get your note regarding the size of the storage tank. Our storage tanks is primarily for backup generation, and the direction we got from our governor and also from our department director is to move away from the fuel tanks, and we're kind of leaning towards more cleaner fuel like utility gas powered generator systems. So that's what we're leaning towards. Our power generation storage tanks is hopefully not to exceed 5,000 gallons, but they're not if they required us to do that because we don't have enough money to go utility gas. But the direction right now, we're steering away from fuel tanks and going with utility gas.
I do have a comment, Michelle. Can you guys explain, Department of Corrections, you really don't think about the public safety. And so I really do appreciate the fact that you do run 24/7 and you keep us safe, So I do have a question though. How many facilities are there, and are they on each island? And what's the reach and the scope for corrections?
Okay, so we got 8 facilities, 3 prisons, and prisons involve inmates that are sentenced. One in Waiava and Central Oahu. The other one is in Kulani and the Big Island near on Mauna Loa, the foothills of Mauna Loa, and Mauna Loa, excuse me. And the other one is Halava Correctional Facility, which is our main prison facility. Those are they take care of sentenced inmates. And then we have 4 correctional facilities, which is the Kauai Correctional Facility. These are jails. We take care of pre-trial for inmates awaiting trial. Their average stay runs about maybe 30 days, I believe, as current. And we have one in Kauai, the Maui CC Correctional Facility, the Big Island Facility, the Hawaii Correctional Facility up in near Wainuenue up in Hilo. And we also have the OCCC facility. People forget the OCCC facility is a jail, not a prison. So, and we also have an annex facility that takes care of furlough, which is the Halinani Annex Facility. It's at the bottom near Steinbeck Road going towards Volcanoes National Park.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah. You had another question too regarding jails or prisons, what we do?
No, I think you answered the question. I just didn't, you just don't think about public safety really,
Yeah, so here's the deal. We're getting a lot of push to do more. Normally we don't do rehabilitation, but we adopted the name correction. Now we got and rehabilitation. We're at one before that we were more focused on public safety, and because we're kind of pushing towards doing rehabilitation, there's a lot of work for us to kind of upgrade our facility to be more rehabilitative and incorporate wellness and cultural aspects to how we deal with the those incarcerated. So it's a challenging task, and we got a lot of projects and that we need to do. Hopefully we stay within the fence line and stay within the boundaries, and this list will help us out to address them real fast, because a lot of times we get stuck in permitting.
Yeah, I understand.
Thank you for the explanation. So I would recommend that you guys make the revisions that we discussed, and then we can meet next month. And if you guys can submit it at least a week before our next meeting, then we can agendize it and discuss it at our next meeting.
Okay.
I think it's our next item on the agenda.
Do we have to do a motion?
So wait, I have one question. So they're not going out for publication or public?
I think this is enough of a rewrite. I think we'd like to see it just one more time, which is really common with lists. I mean, most of the Maui counties we've already seen once. It was a rewrite that we were reviewing this time around. So it's really common in the process to, if there's revisions, just to come back and discuss the revisions.
Okay.
By the way, I'd like to credit my Bars of Capote team for helping me through this. Yeah, this is our first time around, and there's a reason why it took 6 years just to develop this list. So thank God this is kind of not that bad.
No,
Thanks for you guys'
that's really
help.
great. To Mark's point, really
Yeah.
good job. Really good job.
Yeah, no,
Thank
Bauer
you.
Kubota did a great
This
job.
is super common process. We get it once, we talk about it. It
Mhm.
used to be we would do it over 3 meetings. The team would talk about it internally. Then we would invite you guys. Then we would have revisions. And we've tried to consolidate it so the process is a little more
Thank you.
streamlined. Yeah. So I don't know, Chair, do we want to? I don't think any motion at this point is needed for them to review the list. So if we know when our next meeting is, then we can let them know when to
Next
provide the list.
meeting would be.
Okay, I'm going to move to item number 6 first, and I know it's under item number 2 as well, but I just want to make sure that there's no one in the general public who wants to comment on any of this agenda items that we've had on the agenda. So I do not see anyone in the general public. I only see agency folks and Bowers and Kubota. So I'm gonna say that item number 6 is closed, and then I'm gonna go to item number 5, which is announcements. And the next meeting will be September 1st, and I believe usually it's 1 p.m. if we're all good with that, Michelle and Mark. Yes.
I won't be able to make it. I have family in on that time, Dawn. So yeah, I have on from the 1st to the 7th. So unfortunately, I can't make the meeting. But
Okay.
Well, we'll need to make sure Jay can make it, or we will have quorum.
Yeah, maybe we can do a doodle poll and see who's available and if we need to move the date. And then once we have the date, we'll let everyone know via the agenda that's published.
But are you available, Mark, on the 8th?
the 8th is
Okay.
fine. The family's in town from the 1st through the 7th. So yeah, the 8th is open.
Okay.
Sorry. I won't comment. Jay would have to recuse himself because he's with Bowers and Kubota.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Never mind.
So
Right.
Well,
That's
we
right.
will have hopefully another member attending, so we should have quorum.
okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
One
Yeah,
other
I
applicant.
appreciate that.
If
Yeah.
she's confirmed by then yeah. So
Well-
yeah, tentatively the 1st, and then as a backup the 8th.
Yes.
ERP, is there an issue with either of those dates for you guys?
No.
Tom,
Okay.
is that okay whether it's the 1st or the 8th?
Fine.
All right, then we'll let you know.
Okay, then I will close this meeting. It's August 4th, 2:41 p.m. Thank you everyone for attending, and I appreciate Department of Corrections for hanging in there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.